Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. We trying to get to 100K. We on the road to 100K. Let's get there. Let's get there. Tell a friend to tell a friend about what we doing over here, man. We trying to put this positive energy out here. We trying to put these real messages out here to these young fellas and young women about this prison thing, man. It's not the route to go. We want to duck that at all costs. So spread the word, share these videos on your social media, and share them with your friends, your nephews, your sons, your nieces, everybody. Let's get it. This video right here, I was thinking about this video, you know, as always through conversation, and someone asked me, have I ever seen people in prison that, you know, were who appeared to be straight and then turned out to be gay? And of course I have. You know what I'm saying? You've seen everything in prison when you did 12,000, you know, 345 plus days. You've seen almost everything there is to see. So yeah, I've seen that, man, and every time it was amazing to me. It blew my mind. I guess the first time I seen it probably blew my mind the most because it was so unexpected. It was just out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? It went from he to she. And I'm like, you know, I thought it was a joke at first, but then again, with the environment and the place that you live at, you know that this can't be no joke because that ain't nothing to joke about. But I can remember, you know, being on Mecklenburg. And on Mecklenburg, you talking about 90 to 93. So you're talking about 87, 88, and 99. I'm in penitentiary less than 3 or 4 years. So, you know, everything is new to me. Everything is a shock to me. Everything is different. Everything is a learning experience. And you know, you gotta learn as you go. It ain't no pamphlet. It ain't no rule book. You gotta learn as you go and you know, learn the rules yourself. So I can remember being on there, so, you know, I'm super young. You know, I'm young. It's a whole lot of young cats in prison at the time. This is why we do these videos. Keep you young cats from out of prison so you won't have to deal with this type of foolishness. But I can remember being in there. I'm young, you know, so I'm playing a lot of sports. I'm very active in sports, man. I'm training. It's boxing. I'm playing basketball. You know, I play football when we go out there to play football. Yeah, we was playing tackle and yeah, with no pass and no nothing. So dudes was getting busted up, broke up. I mean, anything you could think of, I've seen dudes and broke their arms, their legs, their ankles, their nose, their jaw. I mean, it just goes down in that football in prison, man, because, you know, like I say, we ain't got nothing else to do. We ain't got nothing else to do, so we want to do a lot of things, and we just got to make do with what we got. So, you know, with all the egos and everything, dudes play, you know, straight up football, straight up tackle, no pass, no nothing. And, you know, if you was acting like you was tough and you was acting like you was athletic and you weren't trying to get on that football field, man, then yeah, you gonna be joked and talked about and called scared and scary and all other types of names. But so with that being said, though, man, we used to play a lot of sports, and man, basketball was one of the main sports because, you know, everybody think they can play, everybody think they MJ, you know, Michael Jordan or something like that, or Isaiah Thomas. So everybody used to get on that court, and I won't no exception. I used to get on there, you know, do my little thing, you know, pull my little jumper or whatnot. That's all I really had, though. I wasn't no good defensive. I couldn't jump, definitely couldn't dunk, do none of that. But I will knock that shot down. You can believe that. So, yeah, but you had a lot of young dudes on there playing basketball and stuff. And I remember this young cat that was in my block. And he was from Tidewater, and they used to call him a Lil G. And he could ball real good, you know, but he was a small frame cat, probably about 5'8", 135, small frame. But he used to get ball and he played pretty good and always got picked up, always played. And, you know, along with penitentiary comes drama. Always drama is in effect. And when you get on that basketball court, you're gonna be fouled, you're gonna be disrespected, you're gonna be called outside your name, and you got to be ready to, you know, stand up for yours. You got to be able to rumble when all of that come along, because that's what come along with it. If you don't fight, you know, it's gonna continue, and then everybody gonna do it. So, you know, Lil J, he a rumble, you know what I'm saying, and let it be known, and talk trash. And I done seen him get into a couple of rumbles, get into a couple of fights and everything, you know, and hold his own with the mouth game too. You call him this, he gonna call you that, and then what's up? And, you know, they step to the side and bang it out, you know. And he had a little squabble with him, he had little fights. I can't say he won them all, but he was always in the fight, and he was always willing to fight. So with that being said, you know, I thought he was a, you know, like I mean, not like no killer or nothing like that, but I looked at him as a little young cat did a hold his own. I would guesstimate he probably was about 23, 24. And I remember, man, we was going on lock. We went on lockdown for the annual lockdown, you know, so we might be locked down for a minute, maybe a week or so, you know, on Mecklenburg. And I remember we went on the annual lockdown. And mind you, Mecklenburg is single cell. So everybody in the cell by themselves. You know, everybody's in the cell by themselves. Also, remind you, Mecklenburg was the end all, the be all. You know, if you was a trouble, a convict, anywhere else on the institution, you know, doing whatever you do, you know, standing up for yourself, fighting, whatever, stabbing, you know, assaulting the police, anything like that, that's a, you know, an automatic trip to Mecklenburg for you. That's where they're going to send you, because that's where they're going to get you in line at. Because if you come up there with all that foolishness, you know, you amongst all your same kind. So if you stabbing, you might get stabbed. If you busting heads open, you might get your head bust open. If you attacking police, the police might attack you. So, you know, that's where they're going to send you, to Mecklenburg. There won't nobody else on there but death row. You know, to all the people who've been following me, y'all know this already, because I spoke about these things in my videos, previous videos. But, so, you know, we go on lockdown and everything, so they coming around to do the annual shakedown, this, that, and the third. So when we on lock, you know, you in there by yourself, you waiting for them to come shake your cell down. After they shake your cell down, you know, they got to shake the whole institution down. When they finish shaking the whole institution down, they'll start letting you out. But after they shake your block down, they might let you out in the block. You can't leave the block. We ain't going outside for rec, none of that type of stuff like that until the whole institution has been searched. So, as we go on lock for this lockdown, man, it was crazy, because we go on lock, it's like on a Monday. Usually it come on a Monday, so dudes always be a little nervous on a Monday when, you know, it's been a couple of months before we had a shakedown, because we don't know what Monday they might not just let us out. They may not open the doors and let us out, and all of a sudden they tell us we on lock. So when we go on lockdown this Monday, man, we on lock. I think they came and shook us down like on a Wednesday, you know, and then we come back out on like a Thursday. We come out, they started letting us out in the block. You know, as I say, we can't go outside, had no rec, nothing like that, but we can come outside in the pod. When we come outside in the pod on Thursday, man, after coming off a lock for what, about 4 days, man, Lil J come out in the pod. When his door come open and he walks out of the pod, he walks out of the pod with, like, I cannot describe this, like a wife beater on that was cut off at the waist, tied up in a knot, some jean shorts that has been cut off into Daisy Dukes, and little makeup or whatever he done used, Kool-Aid or whatever, to put on his eyes, and he done fixed his hair up like a girl and everything. And he walk out of his cell and go lean on the rail and prop his leg up. And everybody, and when I tell you, everybody in the block was like, what in the world? You know, we didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was a joke, you know, but like I say, that ain't something that you joke about in prison. And dudes was looking at him like, man, look at Lil J, look what, you know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. I mean, it was just mind-boggling. And I can remember somebody pulling up on him and asking him, I mean, what's up with that? You know, and he just straight up said that he ain't Lil J no more. From now on, you know, call him Jazz. And, you know, he out the closet. Just like that. From he to she. From Lil J to Jazz. You know, Jazz is one of them. I know it is one of the two. But I'm still in this type of mode like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? This the same little cat that was playing basketball, rumbling, fussing, arguing, cussing you out, you know, cussing the police out, you know, thugging it out, you know, young, and boom, there you go. I mean, man, it was just like weird. It was just, and he was dead serious about it. And it didn't take long for people to figure out he was serious. He's switching around the pod with his small frame dude, little self. He got on these little baby shorts, and he's switching around the pod and saying, you know, that's who he is. You know, he tired of denying who he is. You know, people either gonna accept it or they not. He still had the smart old mouth, you know, but that's what it is. Don't call me Lil J no more. Call me Jazz or whatever. And, you know, don't disrespect me. You know, this is what I am. This is what I'm gonna do. And whoever don't like it, that's on you, blah, 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 right? So, man, it was insane, man. I had never seen nothing like that before. Never seen nothing like that before. You know, and you get the perception when you come into prison that all the dudes is gay or going to prison and they don't act like they gay or whatever. They get turned out or somebody beat them or somebody rape them or and make them like that or whatever. And that does happen. You know, that happens in prison. But this wasn't the case. This was solely their decision. Whatever they wanted to do, whatever, and it was crazy. And then what was even more crazy about the situation was you got dudes that already knew him and already looked at him and perceived him as such and such. Used to play ball with him, used to kick it with him, eat with him or whatever. Now, they looking at him like, you know what I'm saying, what's going on? But he looking at them like, well, he had a crush on him all the time. And man, it's like, it was something to see. It was something to see. It was mind-boggling. It was something to see, man. And yeah, he just started living that lifestyle from that point on. And, you know, and the crazy, even more crazy about it is, once he went out on the yard, once the whole lockdown was over, he go out on the yard. He going out on the yard like that. He going out on the yard, presenting himself as Jazz, telling people that that's who he is now. Don't call him this, don't call him that. And then he had suitors. He had suitors. He had people trying to get at him. He had people wanting him to be his boy, to be his people or whatever. And it was just insane to watch. It was eye-opening. Definitely was educational, you know. And I just sit back and watch the whole situation, man. And I can remember him saying something to me, you know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, yo, Bank, because I done played ball with him before. I done spoke to him before, but on the Lil J tip. And he was like, yeah, Banky, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no problem with what I'm doing or nothing to do. I said, I ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, it ain't gonna be no problem. We still cool or whatever. I said, you good, man. I ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you do, that's your life. That's your lifestyle. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't judge people. People do what they want to do, blah, blah, blah. He was like, all right, I just want to talk to everybody, make sure ain't nobody got no problem with me and what I'm trying to do, because this is how I'm going to live, this is my life, and you know, I'm just tired of hiding this is what's always been in me, and I just felt like it was time for me to just let it out and do what I want to do. I was like, well, more power to you, you know what I'm saying, more power to you. But it was crazy, man. It was just something that I never seen, something that I ended up seeing more and more as, you know, my sentence went on and time went on and whatnot. But yeah, that was the first one. That was the first one. And I'm telling you, with that, probably within 2 weeks, you know, you had dudes trying to get at him. You had dudes beefing about, you know, trying to, you know, be their man. Dudes ready to rumble and stuff over him. The same cat that was just playing basketball with these dudes now ready to fight him when he on the court, talking trash and whatnot. Now they looking at him like, okay, well, now, you know, they want to be his peoples. So, you know, that's penitentiary for you. That's what goes on in the penitentiary, you know, more often than not. but it ain't really talked about a lot. I don't talk about it a lot because of the simple fact that I know that these people got lives. I don't know what's going on with them now. I don't know how much they, told their family. So that's why I don't really get into a whole lot of that. And I definitely ain't gonna never say none of their real name because it ain't my place to do that. But I'm using these things as penitentiary name. People that was on Mecklenburg know who I'm talking about. People that was there will testify they done seen these type of things multiple occasions. But it happens, man. It happens in prison. It goes down in prison, I'm sure, in all the prisons all over the world. And sometimes it be their own personal decision. Sometimes it's something that they forced into. But rest assured and believe, more than often, you will see somebody in the penitentiary go from he to she. Yeah, it happens, man. And a lot of times, it be their choice. It be their choice, and that's what they choose to do. That's something that's in them. That's something that, they decided that they want to let the penitentiary know, the world know, and that's what they do. And you, as y'all remember, I told y'all the story about Teaspoon, the chameleon. Teaspoon, did what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. It all depends on when you ran into him, what mode he was in. And he'd be this one day, that the next day, this the next day, so you don't never know what's going on with him. Or he might be this for a year, he might be that for a year, and you never know what's going on with him. But I've seen all sides of him. That's why I call him the chameleon, And Teaspoon could be a gangster. I mean, he could be a gangster. He had the size, he had the attitude, he had the heart. He will be a gangster. And when he in gangster mode, he was a problem, something to deal with. He was something to deal with. But when he was into that type of mode, then he was acting just like a female, dressing like a female, talking like a female, being humble like a female. That's what he was doing. And then you might see him next year and he might be, on a religious tip. He might be on the gangster tip again. He might be on some righteous tip. He just changed right in front of your face. And this stuff happens all the time because I don't know what they equate it to. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know if it be because of the pressure, because of depression, because of the situation, because of, whatever is going on. But this is the choices that some people make, and you just be, when you in there, you just got a front row seat to see it happen. So you be like, wow, you can't see it even coming all the time. You can't see it coming. As far as the Teaspoon situation, I could see it coming because I was pre-warned. Dudes that had already been around him, dudes that had already did time with him. But at the same time, if you was watching him when he was in this hustling mode and this gangster mode, you couldn't see it in him because he was ultra aggressive. And he had big size to him. And he talked greasy. And he talked aggressive. So you couldn't really see it. But it was in him. It was in him, man. I told y'all about the story as well about the when I was in the wall. That was prior to, Mecklenburg and all of that, because I went from the wall to Augusta to Mecklenburg when I ran into Lil G. But when I was in the wall, I was one of the youngest dudes in there, at least on my block. And then I told y'all about the dude that was in there with me that was just as young as me. I ain't even gonna say his name. If you go back to previous videos, you'll know who I'm talking about because I spoke about this situation before. I don't know if that person is out right now or whatever, or what they doing with their life. So, I leave that at that. But he was one of the youngest persons in there as well. And he slept a couple of cells from me, and we was cool and everything because of the fact that we was both young and we in this vicious, crazy world. We done made these bad choices that landed us in, the concrete jungle. But I can remember, like I say, the wall was vicious. It was one of the most vicious prisons, in the state of Virginia and in the state of Virginia history, if not the most vicious. And I told y'all how the cells were, man. They were so small and these tiers were so high, stacked up so high. And we was on the 4th floor. And then the outside of the cell from your cell to the rail that you can go over or look down the tier was just so narrow, man. It was so small. But then when you were in the wall, you had these rules and regulations, man, that you don't supposed to really look at nobody's cell because all the cell doors in the wall is made of bars. So you don't really supposed to look at nobody's cell. That was like a taboo in prison. You mind your business, you walk straight. But with that being said, On one side of you, you got, you know, this big fall, this big drop, so you got to be aware of where you at. And on the other side of you, you got potential danger because dudes is throwing stuff out the cell, throwing hot water on you, throwing feces and defecation on you, making spears and stabbing you. So, and you're supposed to not look at that. You're supposed to, you know, just walk, you know, as if nothing going on when you don't even know what might be coming at you. So it just was crazy atmosphere, man. And a lot of things you had to learn and a lot of things you had to get used to, but you had to because you ain't had no other choice. Because this what's going on in there. This how you got to live, you know, young fellas. This is how you have to live, you know. It ain't no I'ma go complain or I got to get off here and get moved somewhere else or nah. Ain't none of that. You know what I'm saying? You gonna live under these conditions whether you here, or here. And if you open your mouth and speak about it, then you already got a label. So those conditions that you living in is gonna be even worse than what they was before you open your mouth. You know. Even a fish wouldn't get in trouble if he kept his mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? So this is prison, you know. So it was crazy dynamic. And I told y'all, he got into an altercation with a dude one time. It was a verbal altercation. But that altercation that he got into ended up resulting in him almost losing the eye. You know, because the dude that he had words with, he walked by the cell one day and the dude called him and said something. So when he looked, bang, dudes poked him out there. Had the knife on the end of a broomstick and it hit his eye, but it hit the corner of his eye, but it still punctured his eye. And he almost lost his eye. You know what I'm saying? He almost lost his eye. I can remember him walking around with the patch on his eye for a long time. He had to have eye surgery and everything. And at the same time, he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I just say T. You know what I'm saying? T, short for his name, but T was wrong. You know, or he gave the perception that he would. He had the persona that he wasn't scared. He had the persona that he was going to stand up for his. This is what created the altercation between the dude because they had words and he didn't back down. You see what I'm saying? But with that being said, I can remember running into him years later. He got out of prison. He didn't have that much time. He got out of prison. And I think I was on a Greensville. So I go from the wall to... No, I go from Southampton Receiving to the Wall, to Augusta, to Mecklenburg, to Greensville. So by the time I get to Greensville, you talking about the Wall and Greensville, talking about maybe 5 years later. So he had did this little short amount of time that he had to do, went home, and his back now on Greensville. I think I run into him probably like 96 or 97. 96 or 97. So you talking about, you talking about, maybe about 6 or 7 years then. And I ran back into him again, but when I ran into him again, when I first seen him, he looked the same, but he looked different. You know what I'm saying? And the best way I can explain that is he looked like himself, but he didn't have that, I ain't to be played with type look or I'm about mine's look. He looked as soft. He looked as soft to me. And when he opened his mouth and he spoke to me and I spoke back to him, I could sense that. And he, basically pulled me to the side or whatever because he knew me and we had history. And he just straight up told me, you know what I'm saying? Look, he went home, he back, he got a whole rack of time to do with these new charges. And more or less he gay. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? What? He was like, yeah, he gay, and that's how he gonna live his life or the rest of his life if he had to spend in penitentiary. That's how he was gonna live his life. He said that he was always like that. Even back then, he's been like that since a child, but he said he never brought it out and he never, expressed it. But after going through whatever he went through in life, going home, coming to penitentiary, going home, coming back, knowing that he got all this time, that he said he was gonna live his truth. He was gonna live his life. And that's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So I was just, flabbergasted. I'm like, man, that's crazy, And he was still young. We still, I think, in our 20s, and he was like, yeah, that's what he gonna do. And sure, true to his word, that's what he was doing because he it didn't take long. He had a man. You know what I'm saying? He literally had a man. He was living that type of lifestyle. You know, he was living that type of life. But I had seen him the other way. I could still see the scar on his eye where he had surgery, you know, because of the altercation that he had when he was in the wall. But like I say, you never know who's who. That's not just in penitentiary, that's in real life. You never know who's who, what's in their heart, what's, you know, in their philosophy, the way they look at life, the way they approach life, you know, the things they like and the things they don't. You never know. You only know from the perception that they give you. You know, so when you meet somebody, that's why they always say first impressions is the best impression. So when you first meet somebody and you perceive them to be a certain way and you see that they act that way according to the way that they're presenting themselves, that's the way you look at them. So when something else comes along and throws you all the way off, you like, you know, to me anyway, I'm like, man, this is crazy. You know, but he wasn't in the block with me, but he was in the building with me. So when I started seeing him, you know, moving around on the yard or moving around, going in and out the building, and he always with his man and everything, and he acting so feminine and stuff like that. It just was amazing to me because, like I say, it wasn't even the same guy. It wasn't even the same guy. He done went from he to a she. He done went from a he to a she right before my eyes, you know, and I can't do nothing about it, and I can't turn around and you know, or hate on him or nothing because he's doing what he want to do. He doing what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it affected the way, you know what I'm saying, our friendship was because we was friends on another level. You know, we was both in the struggle. We both young in the penitentiary. We both saying we ain't going for nothing, blue, blue, blue. And, you know, so that's how we bonded and that's how we got cool. But now, that ain't the same person. You know what I'm saying? So we don't really have that much in common. And I didn't dislike him and I didn't hate him. And if he spoke, I always spoke or whatever and let it be as that. But it wasn't like it was when I first met him when we was in the wall. You know what I'm saying? We done talked on the gate. He done told me about his hometown. I done told him about mine. You know, we done made meals together, whatever. But, you know, it's a whole different person now. And he living a whole different lifestyle. So I let him be him and I was me. But like I say, those are the things that you see in there that just, you know, really, you know, it's eye-opening in prison. It's eye-opening in prison, and it's something that you need to see if you got to do a lot of time, even if you got to do a short amount of time, because you need to see everything that you need to see when you're in prison, because they're going to be learning experiences for you. They're going to be tools to your survival moving forward, you know, and you're going to need to see all of this type of stuff. Because if you don't see it, when you do see it, you may respond the wrong way, and that may cause you some problems. You know, I could have reacted different when he told me, and that probably would have been a potential problem right there. You know, but like I say, I fashioned myself as being a learner, and I fashioned myself as being a sensible person, and you know, a lot of things that I learned on my own. You know, by being observant and watching and paying attention to my surroundings. And that right there was a blessing because if you move too fast in penitentiary or you come out your mouth and say something without thinking, instead of thinking what you say, you just say what you think, you could be in a world of trouble, you know what I'm saying, on both ends. Because even if you have to hurt somebody or protect yourself from getting hurt, you still in some situations that you can avoid just by thinking, you know. So I'm grateful, man, that I was a thinking person, man, throughout my entire bit. Plus, you know, I had God with me, man. God was on my side. It ain't no question about that. When I look back now at the things that I survived and the things that I went through and the things that I witnessed, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that God was on my side for a lot of those situations, man. Because I've been in situations that I might not should have came out of, but I did, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, over the years, man, it just kept going on. It became a recurring theme, man, that I knew people that was one way, and then when I ran into them again, they was another way. And so I got to the point where things like that ain't super shocked me no more, but they did always have a boom, what, you? That type of effect on me. And it just kept going, you know what I'm saying? I've seen it so many times. The ones that's coming to my mind is the ones that I'm bringing y'all to now. Because I don't sit down here and just write this stuff down. I always bring this to y'all straight from the forefront of my mind. And when I sat down this morning, those were the things that I just had on my mind to talk about, but I didn't have specific cases that I was going to talk about. So I'm thinking right now, and the next one that come to my mind was this one that was on Augusta with me as well. And I spoke about this person before because this person right here was a person that was crazy to me because this person fought all the time. They stayed in trouble. They always was borrowing stuff. They used to do something that used to really, really piss me off. I used to want to beat him up a couple of times because he used to borrow from me because I had a store boss. He used to always have these excuses about being late. But he used to do the one thing that a lot of people do that's locked up that always pissed me off, especially dealing with that store box thing. They used to try to sell you all these sad stories of why they ain't got your money, and then they'll try to go to the phone, or they'll do this, which was the worst to me. They'll be on the phone and call you over there. And you be like, what's up? You on the phone? And they'll say, no, somebody want to talk to you. Who want to talk to me? I don't even know nobody you talk to. No, just take the phone. And you take the phone and it be their mother. It be their sister. It be their auntie. Or sometimes their grandma. Tell me, look, I know my grandson owe you some money and I'm going to send it and you trying to listen to that stuff. They trying to get sympathy from you from putting somebody on the phone saying they're going to send you the money. So they done took their penitentiary problems and imposed them on their family on the street and trying to get sympathy. Man, that thing used to burn me up, man. I used to be like, okay, yes, man. And I used to get off the phone and I used to be like, man, don't do that no more. And then when they get off the phone, I be up on them. Look, man, don't call me to no phone putting your people on there. Your people don't owe me no money. You owe me some money. I don't play that. You better have my money on this. I don't care what they say. I ain't got nothing to do. You know, that type of stuff. You know, because you know it's game and you know it's con and you using your people. So now I even got even more anger towards you for what you owe me, but also how you treating your people. You know what I'm saying? Be a man, stand up. You put yourself in this position. Don't be bringing your people into it. They ain't got nothing to do with it. They ain't borrowed nothing from nobody in here, let alone me. But it goes down in there, man. This is the type of stuff they be doing. Yeah, this is the type of stuff they be doing. And that used to irk me out of, I don't know what. And he used to do it all the time. And he got the rumbling in there for owing people money from borrowing. And dudes, he always had a good story. And he'll show you a receipt where he done got money in and go borrow. But what he'll do is he'll show you the receipt from the money he got and go borrow from this person. And then he'll go show the receipt to the other and borrow from money from that person. If you ain't got but $50 and you done borrowed $30, $40 from me, you know what I'm saying? Or the bill would be $30, $40. You done borrow 20, which gonna make you owe me 40, and then you go borrow the same from another. You don't even have the money to pay what you borrowing for. So you know you putting yourself in a situation. But he used to do it because he would be willing to fight. He'd be willing to take the whooping. You know what I'm saying? Because he's trying to get out of the debt. You know, but he'll be willing to take the whooping. And on top of that, the dude was real talented. I told y'all he was talented, man. He used to play the guitar and play a lot of other instruments, and he could sing. And the thing about it, I know I spoke about this cat in one of these videos. You know, somebody out there know, maybe Francine Smith. But I remember we had a 4th of July cookout or something one day, and he played the guitar, man, out there. They used to have the instruments and the band and all that stuff set out sometime out there back in the day. But all of that ended up getting cut out. But we used to have that type of stuff back in the day. But I remember, man, he shut the yard down that day because he played Prince Purple Rain and he sung it and he played the guitar and he was strumming that guitar like Prince, and he did a good job, man. So dudes was like, boom, he's super talented and everything. But man, lo and behold, man, you know, so you talking about Augusta, so you talking about the late 80s, right? All the way, fast forward all the way up to the I want to say the 90s, yeah, 90s. Yeah, maybe like 95. So however many years that is, y'all do the math, you know. And I can remember me and Dixon being in the salad port, man. We was out there cleaning up, man. We had the job in the building with old Trent. You know, Trent give all the gangsters job and stuff. He don't want nobody soft working for him. So everybody working in there was old times, old schools, dudes that put in work. So me and Dixon out there, we faking the funk. We ain't really doing nothing. We just out there, you know, having fun, acting like we working. You know, we ain't doing nothing. But they be bringing people in and out of the building. So we working out there in the salad port, and old boy was coming in and get transferred from another camp. And he comes up in the salad port looking like a woman, got his hair tied up in a bandana, a whole lot of hair, long hair like a woman, acting feminine, little small clothes on, got his boxing property with him, and he with a CO, and me and Dixon out there just standing around, just, you know, looking and like what's going on, and boom. In my mind, I don't know what Dixon was thinking. In my mind, I'm like, boy, they bringing another homosexual up in here, you know, and what building, what party going in? We was wondering if they gonna put him in our party. Then we started thinking to ourselves, what sales open? Is he going in our party? Boom. And showing up, he looking at us, and they waiting for the Sallyport door to open, and he called my name. So I'm like, what? He said, oh, you don't remember me, Banky, talking like a woman? And I'm like, nah, I don't remember you at all. Said, you need the Dixon? And Dixon like, nah, hell no, I don't remember you. And they just sitting there laughing. So Dixon was like, well, who is you? Who is you? You know what I'm saying? And then they said, Augusta. You don't remember me from Augusta? So I'm looking at him, and it ain't even registering to me, and it ain't registering to Dixon. And he said his name, and as soon as he said his name, it popped up in my head. That's who it was, this same cat that used to be rumbling, the Purple Rain cat.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.